Welcome back, my favorite artists, to Mrs. Mayo's in-home art studio. This week we're going to work on birds of prey, and most specifically for my fourth graders, the osprey. It's an awesome raptor. Raptor is a really cool word that describes large birds of prey, and an osprey fits into that category. We are going to begin by looking at images, as we often do as scientists and artists, to make observations of the awesome osprey. Or if you really don't want to draw an osprey, you could certainly do a different bird of prey like an owl, a red-tailed hawk, an eagle. But that would require a little additional research. Check out the internet for images. That's a really important step. In my slideshow, you can discover some really interesting images of the osprey. And big shout out to Mrs. Blakeney, the art teacher at Matunic and at West Kingston, for helping build such an awesome slideshow. This is an osprey perched in a tree, as you can see. And this image I really like. I like the profile, I like that it's asymmetrical, and I like the contrast of the earth tones within the osprey with the blue sky. So this is the image that I'm looking at. I notice the different sizes, the variation in the feathers within the wings, and there's a really cool band around the osprey's eye, almost like a ninja mask. They're really, really neat. So ospreys are also called fish hawks because they really exclusively eat fish. They were an endangered species, or on the brink of, in the early 90s, but people in South Kingstown in particular and Narragansett have worked really hard to create and foster an awesome community for these ospreys to build nests. And you will see in the slideshow, Narrow River, right in Bonnet Shores, has a live osprey cam. Please check that link out. It is so cool. I could not stop watching it this week. There are so many moments where it's just hopping that just completely take my breath away. And you can use that cam as a way to observe and look closely at the osprey and draw from observation. Okay, let's get started. All you need to do this week is pencil and paper. I may color a little with colored pencil. I feel like I want that eye to pop out because it has that really unique bird of prey raptor eye, but that is your artist's choice. Pencil and paper is totally fine. All right, let's get started, guys. So it's really important you always start with pencil when doing realistic drawing. And as I've shared with you in class, you want to draw light until you've got it right. Also, you're going to break it down into basic shapes. And you're going to begin with the body. Ospreys become quite large. And I know it's probably hard to see in the film, but I'm drawing really light till I feel good about the body shape that I've created. On top of this large oval, which is its body, I'm going to stack a circle for its head. And they kind of overlap, which means one goes over the other, which we are going to erase or color over. And I want to make sure I leave a spot. From here, I'm going to start to think about that hooked beak. It's hooked because it's a bird of prey to get into those fish. And I learned from watching videos, the top line comes up almost to the eye because of its need to swallow prey. All right, so I have that. Now I'm going to come down and do the tail feathers, which are not long and decorative like other birds, but pretty blunt or straight at the bottom, but still have some variation. You can see how I'm doing that. Now I'm going to go through and start to add the wings, which are really, really intricate and detailed. And like I shared, have different layers of feathers. And they have a pretty large wingspan. I think I read 2 to 4 feet, and they can live up to 20 years, I read, which is impressive. But in the wild, they typically only live till they are 7, which is just a little younger than you guys. So you can see this. Now I don't want to forget that really, really prominent eye, and I don't think I hooked the bill quite enough. And if you check out the slideshow, I've included some really cool images of their talons, which you really can't see when they're perched, but it gives a new meaning to a fish hook, you know, like a fishing line, because I can see how they are able to really catch those fish so well. There's actually a really cool spot right in Peacedale by Whalers where they're stocking fish, and I hope this is not blowing anything. They're stocking fish, and an osprey and the eagle that lives by Peacedale School has been hanging out over there and catching the fish that are being stockpiled for fishing season. If you have time, while respecting the guidelines of social distancing, I really recommend you go check that awesome spot out. But don't blow it, because it was shared. The secret spot was shared with me by one of my favorite people in the whole world, who's an avid bird watcher. So before I start to add the details within the face, I don't want to forget those incredible talons, and I'm going to map them out. You want to think about what would balance your bird. Just a curved line at the bottom that I'm then going to add the details of the talon. Now, prior to that, I want to add my tree branch. And I'm going to have mine just come across. Now, my bird's looking a little too parroty or sweet right now. It needs to look fierce, like a real raptor. So how I'm going to do that is start to come on up and add the details in the face. Those little bit of feathers. Now the eye is definitely looking too cute, so I have to really start to, and I want to, of course, include that awesome ninja mask. Now I'm going to do most of my shading with my pencil, but like I shared with you, I'm probably going to add a little, I think the beaks may be too big, I don't know, but I'm really enjoying it. I love ospreys so much. That might be it. And I'm going to erase some. Accidents happen, and that's okay, as I've shared with you. I definitely want to start to shade in that ninja mask, though. So I map it out. And that is so specific to the osprey. It's an important detail. And I notice they get a little darker up here from my image. So I definitely want to include that. And then I don't want to forget their nostril, which they almost, you know, like we hold our breath when we go underwater, because they have to go underwater to fish. Sometimes they just hold their breath just like we do. And it's starting to look more like the awesome osprey. Now, their wings aren't white, so you're definitely going to want to shade some of that in with your pencil and show that. Add those details. So I'm finishing up my osprey now, and I don't want to forget those impressive talons. Now, I noticed from looking at images, their nails are black. And they have some, they really almost, I can see why people call them raptors, because they really almost look like what I would imagine a dinosaur's, and they need a little work. I'm making some mistakes there, but that's okay, and I'm going to continue to work on it. As you finish, do not forget, I think it has to come to add your shadows where those would be, so like under the wing. And remember, you push down to create that value feel. You push down really hard at first, and then you slowly and gradually lift up your pencil or crayon or whatever it is you're working with. So you want to create that illusion of 3D to make your image look real. And you can always smudge it a little with your finger. That adds like a gentleness to it, more subtle effect. You can add tree bark. You can add a nest. I learned from doing my research, they're in the process of finishing up laying their eggs right now. Ospreys, the females lay 2 to 4 eggs every April and into May. So check out that Narrow River cam, please, guys. So feel free to add a nest. You could have a fish in its beak, because again, they're also called the fish hawk. They're here in Rhode Island from like March and April till the fall when it starts to get cold, and then they migrate all the way to potentially the Amazon, Florida. It's pretty amazing when you start to learn and research. I could sit here and draw this awesome osprey all day. I think they're amazing. I hope you enjoy doing this. I miss you, my awesome artists. All right, what else should I add? Fish some water down here? I don't know. I could keep going. So, I'm feeling really good about my osprey portrait that I did with pencil and paper. I hope you really have so much fun creating this too. I miss you guys. Be well. Check out the slideshow, please. And continue to work so well in your own home studios. Thanks, guys.